The Royal Hideaway Playacar is a small, adults-only resort that is located in Playa del Carmen, at the south end of the town. In this video, we'll give our impressions of the resort, as well as some tips and suggestions if you're thinking about coming here. The main building at the front of the resort is where you'll find the front desk and reception. Except for check-in and the odd question, we didn't really spend much time here. If you continue through this area, you'll find a few small gift shops and jewelry stores. We did some browsing, but that's it. The tour operators set up shop at the bottom of the stairs. If they're not there, then people often take the comfy chairs. It's a nice quiet spot. For those interested in working out, there's a fairly substantial gym located downstairs as well. Most of the rooms are located in similarly sized circular villas located throughout the resort. The room was a decent size. It included a king-size bed, TV, lots of space to hang things as well. It wasn't the coldest of refrigerators, but there were a number of drinks there you could choose from. And also, if you wanted something hot, there were coffee pods, Nespresso ones, if you wanted a coffee in the morning. Because it was our anniversary, they gave us a little bit of extra on arrival. It included a bottle of sparkling wine and some chocolates. The room had ample storage and closet space. The room also had a safe, and if you needed it, there was an iron and ironing board as well. The bathroom was a good size and featured a stand-up shower as well as a sit-down tub. One minor annoyance was the hot water would suddenly become hotter and then cool down again, just randomly, so we had to be careful when using the shower. The balcony was a nice quiet space, although we mostly used it for hanging clothes. We found the resort grounds to be clean and well maintained. It was actually quite an attractive resort. We're not pool people, but if you are, there's a number of pools located around the resort. There are some secluded ones out of the way, as well as two main pools near the beach. The resort has 5 pools altogether, although most people hung around the main pools. The beach towel hut was usually staffed, and it never ran out of towels during our entire stay. There are also a few jacuzzi tubs scattered around. However, only one of them uses hot water. One of the main reasons we chose this resort was for the beach, and it didn't disappoint. You'll notice at this resort it doesn't use palm trees or palapas for shade. Instead, they use a tight canvas covering that just covers around the edge of the beach chairs. If you wanted to avoid the sun, it did a pretty good job of it. The only downside was they could sometimes blow around on a windy day. Royal Hideaway is located around one of the widest stretches of beach, so if you don't like walking a long way to the ocean, you might not like it. However, we appreciated the long walk on the powdery sand. You'll notice that there is some seaweed at the water's edge. Overall, we didn't get a lot during our 7 days there, mostly during the first couple days, and it was rarely in the water. There are 3 options for breakfast, with the most popular being the beach restaurant. There you can either order off the menu or just choose from the buffet. Or you can go to the Spices restaurant located directly above the main beach restaurant. This area is much quieter and features an a la carte menu. It's also air conditioned if you need that. The last option is room service, which is available all day. We found that the breakfast was still warm even though it took up to 45 minutes to reach us. The same options were available for lunch. At the beach restaurant, you could order off a menu or choose from the buffet. It was a small but serviceable buffet with most of the basics such as salads, a few breads, and cakes. There were always a few choices for pizza available, such as margherita or pepperoni. However, we found them a little bit bland and disappointing. The hot items in front of the kitchen were the only ones that changed from day to day. Most of the other items remained the same during our stay. Having a hybrid system of a menu plus a buffet created one problem, and that was the lineups that would inevitably occur every day between 9 and 11 and 1 and 3. This meant we went upstairs to Spices more often than we wanted to because it was just an easy way to get lunch without waiting. But both the food and service were pretty good, so we can't complain too much there. Overall, we were much happier with the a la cartes than the buffet, but it had its moments as well. Although the resort didn't have too many special food events, one of the highlights was on Christmas Day when they cut open a huge tuna and we had some really fresh sashimi. There would be live performances outside the main pool, usually around lunchtime. It was a nice diversion. As far as food went, the dinners were a highlight. We went to all of the a la cartes except for the Italian one, and they were all pretty good overall. We would say that we liked the Mediterranean the best, and the Thai Japanese the least. The presentation was good, and we had more than enough to eat each time. There were usually a selection of starters as well as a main course and dessert. It was definitely enough food for us.
Steak tartare in Korean watermelon salads with gorgonzola cheese and fresh tomato.
What is that?
It's delicious. It's very first.
The nightlife at the resort is pretty limited. We knew that going in, however, it was really quiet at times. There was a piano player who would play for an hour or two most nights in one of the bars. But because he was tucked in a corner and it was adjoining a restaurant, there wasn't much focus on the pianist, and it became sort of background noise. On a number of nights there was a performance at the bar, just near the main building. The only problem was that seating was limited, and so it was hard to get a spot to sit and watch. But we did manage to grab the gazebo a couple times, and it was a perfect spot to listen to a performance. The theater was in operation less often than we expected. However, the venue was pretty nice, and the performances were decent. This was a good spot to grab a coffee in the morning. Although they didn't have a cappuccino maker, they did have an espresso machine. Overall, the bartenders were pretty good, and from time to time they would offer us something interesting.
Tequila.
Good.
One of our favorite things about the resort was the local wildlife that we found all the time. In particular was the agouti, this small rat-like creature which sometimes was scared and nervous and would run away, and then other times would be very still and just let us come close. They were very interesting creatures, very energetic too. We also encountered a number of iguanas. They were a little bit more placid and rarely moved unless you got too close to them. We also encountered a very popular resort animal when we got up for the sunrise one morning. This is Louisa, or that's the name one of the resort staff gave her. She's also been called Lucy. She's been coming to the resort for some time and has gained a bit of a reputation there. When we were there, we encountered her almost every day, and we just felt we had to give her something, so we made sure she got some food and water each time we encountered her. And one benefit of getting up early for the sunrise was there was no wait for the breakfast table at the buffet. You can walk a fair distance either direction from the resort. We first went south, and we passed by a number of other resorts as well as independent condominiums and small hotels. It narrows a bit, but the beach is always sandy. Run, run! Going north, things are a bit busier and more crowded, mainly because the actual beach is very narrow in parts. We went a fair distance as well, but eventually you'll get to a point where you either have to get into the water or head back. and overall we were happy staying at the Royal Hideaway Playacar. It's a good quiet resort, not very big, but we like the convenience of just walking around easily, and we love the quiet. If you like nightlife, this is not the place for you, but we enjoyed it. In the next video, we'll take a short trip to some local Mayan ruins, possibly the only free ones in Mexico.